So let me first acknowledge that we face quite a lot of different types of sustainability challenges. Climate is an important one, but not the only one. There is, for example, nature, loss of biodiversity, a whole raft of social equity issues, and many others. But we also prioritize climate given its urgency and how it is interlinked with other sustainability challenges. And already last year, in the run-up to COP26, we committed DBS to being net zero in our financed emissions, so the emissions we're enabling with our lending and financing activities, to net zero by 2050. But about 2 weeks ago, in September, we went much further and we published a report called Our Path to Net Zero, Supporting Asia's Transition to a Lower Carbon Economy. And what we did there was really two things. Firstly, we provided utmost detail around how we're actually going to do this. And secondly, we provided short-term 2030 decarbonization targets, which are science-based for a very large number of sectors, which at the moment is among the most ambitious and comprehensive sets of decarbonization targets in banking globally. And we really look at climate action through three lenses. Firstly, we think it's a societal imperative. We see the pain inflicted on communities because of the implications of climate. We see it all around us, whether it's droughts in India, in China, Pakistan is flooded at the moment, and so on and so forth. We need to be here to help the communities we operate in. Second, it's a risk imperative. We need to protect our shareholders and the bank against the implications of climate change. And thirdly, it's a very big business opportunity. The financing needs to actually transition economies to a lower carbon one are gigantic, and we want to be there for our clients. And we had already prior to that made huge progress on providing advisory and financing for sustainability and transition matters, and we now want to accelerate it further. So technology is going to be absolutely critical for all of us to deliver on our sustainability strategies, especially on combating climate change. And there are probably at least two lenses that come to my mind. Firstly, technology is critical in the various sector-specific decarbonization pathways. Think about the built environment and, for example, intelligent IoT sensors which allow us to reduce energy demand. But then secondly, much more holistically, technology is going to be very critical in being an enabler for decarbonization. So think about how we source and manage data. And I think the potential of AI and machine learning is very significant for us to be much more efficient in what we do. We perceive the whole sustainability agenda, and especially tackling climate change, as a very huge business opportunity. If you think about the investment and financing needs required to transition to a lower carbon society, they're all very staggering. So by some research, we need $3.5 trillion a year to additionally invest in order to transition to net zero by 2050. If you add to that other sustainability challenges, for example, the financing needs to meet all the 17 UN SDGs, the numbers are even much higher and north of $4 trillion a year. So that of course means that our clients will have a lot of financing needs to transition, and here lies a great business opportunity, both in terms of providing advisory services, but ultimately also delivering transition and sustainable finance. So the criticism that we as a bank and many others also face around sustainability actions can really be mitigated by at least two things. Firstly, the approach you take towards, for example, tackling climate change has to be very robust and science-informed. Climate change ultimately is dictated by physical science. So what we did at DBS, we took on board science-informed pathways that sector by sector dictate the rate of decarbonization we want to follow. So a rigorous science-informed process is very critical. And then secondly, it's all about transparency. We've just published a 76-pager and told everyone in great detail how we're going to do all of this. And we're very committed on an annual basis to update people on our progress, as well as any refinement to the approach that we may take. Because what we do is not perfect, because data is not perfect, and methodologies are not perfect. They're going to evolve. But as long as we are committed to transparency and letting everyone know how we do things, I think we can actually combat any sort of criticism that might come up.